Hi, in this video we're going to have a look at the new mounted knights from Victrix. Okay, so the Victrix plastics come in a bag rather than a box. They've also supplied a simple instruction guide. So that'll tell you all the different options available for each knight, along with the different shields and various weapon options available to you. Now, you get, I think it's 3 sprues of the actual knights and all the options available. And likewise, you get 3 sprues of horses. Now, we just quickly look at the horses. Let's get all this out of the way. So we have a number of options on the horses, as in poses wise. For your knights, they're not all one pose. There are 6 different poses per sprue. They're all the same sprue, but it does mean that there's some variety in the way the horses are posed. So that's those. Pretty straightforward, pretty easy to put together. Those parts go to there. You know, it's quite simple to sort of work out which bits goes where, even if you lose the instructions. So, moving on to the knights themselves. Now, there are 6 bodies per sprue, and you get a wide range of options. Now, this includes a good variety of heads and helmets, and like I said before, you should be able to sort of mix these with any of the sort of Norman range that Victrix do, but also the Wargames Atlantic foot knights. So if you were, for instance, if you were looking to cover the Anarchy period in British history, which is basically a civil war between Empress Matilda and Stephen de Blois over the control of England just after the king died, and that raged for quite a number of years, right up to about 1154-55 period. So these will cover the sort of latter part of the Anarchy period and into sort of the periods of like the Barons' War and stuff like that. But if you mix them with Norman parts from the sort of Norman sprues, you could go early Anarchy. So, besides the heads, what else do we get on the sprue? Well, we have a number of weapon options. So you get hand weapons as well as lances. You get a number of different lances, and of good variety of weapons that include sword, hand axe. You've got mace, and so you've got a good sort of choice of different weapons to choose from. They don't have to be all mounted with lances. You could have a variety of hand weapons. Now, I'll just spin this around. As you can see, we have shields mainly in this design. There is 1 or 2 of these sort of Norman period sort of kite shield. It's mainly the teardrop sort of design of shield. Now, like I said, you could take parts from the Norman sprues if you wanted to go that little bit earlier in the sort of 12th century and go for early Anarchy. overall it's a nice set of miniatures, and like I said, with some kit bashing from different sources, you can sort of extend the range slightly. You can take it back to slightly earlier in the 12th, and you could probably take it slightly later than the 13th with a few options from other kits. And these should work well with the Foot Knights from Wargames Atlantic. I mean, we have a Foot Knight here. Size wise, there's not too much difference. The Victrix might be a little bit bigger, more sort of heroic 28 rather than true scale 28. But if you're mixing Victrix between Victrix and Victrix kit bashing, you shouldn't have a problem. But there's no reason why you can't field a unit of these within the same army as these guys. Once they're on the horses, the slight difference in size and scale isn't going to be that much, but there is a slight difference, and I'll build one up and show you the difference. But like I said, this is a really nice kit. There's a lot of options. I'm planning to sort of kit bash some of these with my a set of Norman infantry that I've got from Victrix, to create some medieval knights for sort of anarchy period, because that's the period I'm sort of interested in, is the anarchy rather than Barons' War. But my kit bashing should be able to use in both. It should be a problem. That the sort of technology hadn't changed significantly. It's just some styles of helmets and stuff like that. Mail armor was still mail armor. The shields used by knights and foot soldiers of that period changed slightly. They went from the kite design to the teardrop, but there were still quite a few people using the kite design. Anyway, the next step is to sort of build a couple of these guys up and take a look at what they look like once they're built. Okay, so that's the medieval knights mounted from Victrix. Quite a nice kit. Slightly bigger than the Wargames Atlantic ones, but not too different that you can't add this unit into an army if you've got the mixture of both. I don't think the scale difference is too drastic that it's going to be a massive issue. Like I said, with some kit bashing, you could probably extend that period of their use. So you could go with adding some Norman bits and pieces. You could go slightly earlier in the 12th century, to sort of the beginning of the anarchy period, and you could probably find some bits and pieces to add it to make it go later than 13th century slightly, and into the 14th century. Just to be honest, the technology in military hardware of that period hadn't changed distinctively that much. There were some style variations in like helmets and stuff like that, and shields, for instance. They changed from the kite shield design from the Norman sort of period, changed to the teardrop shield design, but then it pretty much stayed that. There were some variations in the teardrop, but the teardrop became a sort of more standardized shield design. There's plenty of scope on those miniatures for painting if you're into painting Heldrick and freehand, or you could go down the option of using decals. I personally plan to sort of kit bash some of the knights so they look earlier, so that I'm kind of aiming to put the sort of the mid sort of anarchy period, where some people are still using a lot of the old kit from the Norman style of weaponry and helmets and design, shield designs, and then some of them will be the more modern. They're using more modern style of helmets and shields, so it's sort of a mixture of the two. So it's sort of like that mid, where some still haven't, maybe they're not rich enough to afford the newer kit, just to give it some more of a distinct flavour and style. Overall, nice kit, nicely sculpted, nice detail, a lot of good options on those kit. As with Victrix, they are very nice miniatures, and you get a good amount. 18. That's a good size unit to put on the table. You could mix that down to like 2 smaller groups of 9, or buy some individual character types miniatures from elsewhere to bulk it up to say to 20, 2 units of 10 or 1 big unit of 20, by adding a sort of character commander to it. But yeah, so overall it's a nice kit, very good kit, and it's good to see some nice plastics from medieval period. Anyway, that's all for this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.